hero.
Have you any hobbies?
My hobbies are fast cars and fast women.
Hobbies are healthy. They teach you things.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Welcome back, everybody. It's Monday. That means it's time for Around the UFL. And we got a big week for you because we just had the biggest weekend of the season behind us. Points galore. Oh, go on.
Sorry, I was testing my.
Good time to test once the show's live. Can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that. But you know what? We're here. We got Zachy Boy in Houston with me. Before we kick off, let's go around the panel. Zach, first, we'll start with you. You're in the same flipping room as me. How are you doing today?
I could be better, but you know,
Yeah,
I
that's
always enjoy going to the championship games. That's what I'm going to put out there for you. Yeah, look, quick analysis. I'll get into deeper stuff, and just going to say it. Got our asses handed to us. It's that simple. Weren't even in the same building or stratosphere as DC, and I'll get more into it because there's a lot more I could say. But yeah, I'm here. Still had a great time. Glad to meet tons of DC and especially my own Panthers brethren out there as well. We had a great tailgate. Got to meet up a bunch with all you guys on screen, by the way, too. So I say that's a huge win and a great weekend in itself.
And we had fun. And you know what, Zachy Boy? It was a fun old tailgate. This is the one time we actually got to tailgate. I ate 2 brats. I was eating all day. After I couldn't eat in the beginning of the trip. That second half of the trip, I think I made up for it. Shucky ducky quack quack. Man, I feel bad for you. Your Memphis Showboats couldn't pull it out this weekend. But how you feeling?
Bad for me. I feel good.
Oh,
Michigan
okay.
lost. It's like, all right, DC won. That's cool. But Michigan lost. That's the icing on the cake for me.
Oh, what happened to him?
Oh,
He got to celebrate and quit. It's the first time he got to celebrate in 4
there
years.
he
if
is.
you wondering, I wasn't the one touching the keyboard.
That was me.
Somebody put me backstage.
That was me. That was me.
Oh.
You know what? You got to remember,
Ducky,
I'm
I
from
thought that was
Michigan,
a
too.
bit. I thought you were just saying that and then leaving. I thought that was.
I'm out of here.
I said what I said. Ducky,
So
how was it? I know you said you didn't go to St. Louis, but you did make it to Audi West. So
Yeah, I made it to Audi West. It's definitely not St. Louis. You know, they won 3 games there, and they also scored the most points in spring football history. I'm pretty sure, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, 58 points.
Blowing the St. Louis Battlehawks record, by the way, that was previously set.
Yeah.
Man, what a game it was. We'll get into the deets here shortly. Before we get to you, James, Jake, how you holding up over there? You look a little disheveled. Your hair's popping out of the hat. Have you been drinking nonstop since this game ended?
Oh God, no. I'm tired from the damn trip.
He's used to this.
Yeah, like there's disappointment galore. Like I'm like it was 0-6 versus Birmingham, and then 0-7, and then all of a sudden, losing to DC on Saturday. Was just the icing on the cake. So now holding up. I mean, what can I expect from a Mike Nolan team? I mean, just more proof that he needs to go.
Now, James, you're the one I feel the worst for. What's going on here? That's right.
I don't see any James.
I didn't recognize you once you took the jersey off your wall behind you there. How you doing, Thorne?
Doing well. Obviously, the #1 Defenders fan show on the planet. And here we are. DC gets the win, so I'm happy to talk about the rosters and my roster document as we move forward into the rest of the show.
That's crazy. James missing his first show ever?
I can't believe it.
I can't believe he would duck on his own show like that.
Well, Michigan lost. That's why he didn't come.
Oh, that's right. He is a Michigan fan.
It's like me after Houston loses. And sometimes after they win. Oh, well. It happens.
Funny enough, somebody, I can't remember who, but somebody was trying to get me to say the Panthers slogan before the game to get me to be the Michigan fan that I am, quote unquote. So I just said giddy up. So somebody's got a video of me out there saying giddy up. I don't remember who it is, but hopefully they don't post that out there because I know Stevie T and a couple other people will definitely love that one.
Well, it's like the video of Ducky saying caca. But
Dude, don't we have a picture of you with Stallion's lock screen somewhere?
Oh, yeah.
I showed it on air. That was a while back though, because
I was gonna say. So we already know that you're just a slut. Moving around from team to team.
Hey, I ain't Ducky over here, man.
I'm curious. What's your lock screen now? Which team is it now?
It's no team.
No team.
My girlfriend.
Frantically changing it. Oh, look at you! All right.
He's got the double tap change. Whenever you double tap it, it changes.
Oh yeah.
We do have our first super chat of the day from one of our regular patrons, Lucina Medina, saying, quote, bandwagoning for my favorite spring QB, Jordan Ta'amu paid off well. Back to cacawing now.
I think that's a good place to start. There was a lot of hubbub last Friday when Jordan Ta'amu didn't get the season MVP. We watched that game. That may be partially the reason that the DC Defenders played the way they did, especially with Ta'amu. One thing that I've seen, this is a reoccurring theme with the DC Defenders this year. If you slight them in any way, or even if they interpret what you're doing as a slight, they are coming out full force. First, they kicked off the season. They beat down the Birmingham beat down might be a little bit strong, but they beat the Birmingham Stallions to start the season with an interim head coach. And from then on, it was surprise, maybe not surprise. As we got to the season, I am surrounded by Michigan fans. I might just be bad luck, too. I will put a little bit of blame on me. I carry a little bit of bad luck sports stink wherever I go. I lived in Michigan my whole life. Lions never won a playoff game. They finally won. I moved to Arizona. The Cardinals get to the Super Bowl, don't win it, but every other team falters, and the Cardinals never really made it there since. I moved to Houston. This is when the Rockets were good. The Texans were good. Both of them stunk, other than the Texans have been getting decent recently. So that's on me, guys. Sorry, Panthers fan. Sorry, every Panthers fan out there. But before I forget, too, one other thing to note. Big show this week, too, because we have a champion joining us. We have Briley Moore, DC Defenders tight end, joining us. James, Thorne, whoever the hell you are. 5:20-ish, you think, or 6:20, whatever time
somewhere
zone.
Between 5:20, 5:30 is the plan. So we'll see. Look, I mean, these guys are probably still partying it up after their win. So hopefully he makes it.
as they should be. I'm curious. favorite moment of the game, or maybe even the weekend. We'll go around the table. We'll start with you, Zach. Why can't I talk today? This is what I'm like out of my element with somebody here.
I'm acting like a school teacher, walking over your homework. Look, my favorite moment of this weekend, I already kind of hinted at it. Again, it was meeting up with a bunch of just like my own fandom that traveled down. Panthers fans traveled really well for this game. Really was happy to see the contingent that came down. And just meeting with some people, some that I hadn't met before when I've been to Detroit, some faces that are familiar. Shout out again to the folks over at My Panthers Pride podcast, Jesse and Lauren, for helping us set up a great tailgate party, along with Ed from the Bottom Line and his crew. Those guys did a great job. That was my favorite moments, the tailgate. Just all those people getting to meet some new faces. Because, I mean, look, we all know this, tons of passionate fans around the league. It was nice to see a fan base like that come out in numbers, and DC fans too, by the way. You know, it was great to see just some new folks from across the country. Because, I mean, look, it's hard to respond and get things together in 1 week like that to come out to a neutral site a little bit away. And I got to give those guys cred for making it out the trip. So shout out to you guys. You guys are the true folks out there, and glad you got there.
How about you, Ducky? Favorite moment of...
Almost the same exact thing. I got like so much stuff here from everybody. Like this was from XFL Jim. Little glitter duck, and then I got so much stuff. That's from Lemon Guy. This is
that one's
cool.
sweet. Yeah.
This is cool. That's gonna be hanging up eventually back there. And then KJ Disciple P, the Houston Roughnecks.
Yeah.
Is he? Yeah, he gave me this like super cool like. Oh, let's see if I can get it. Little challenge coin.
Oh yeah, those are great. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
He's gonna be upset when I steal
really
that idea next year.
Is I was given the same thing and I put it in my photo vest pocket, and I never grabbed it back out.
No.
After giving it back, and you know it sucks because this whole year I've had the same vest because obviously I've been traveling around, so they just gave me a vest to take with me. But of opposite championship, so I give it back. The 1 week that I gave it back was the 1 week I had something in there that I needed to take, and I completely forgot. So KJ, I appreciate you giving it to me, but hey, somebody in the UFL ended up getting that, so I'm sure they're enjoying it. Whoever they
Yeah, they're like, who the fuck is this? More Lemon Guy. Stickers. Chris Tisdale gave me this sticker.
Nice.
Shout out Tisdale too for getting a lot of people hooked up with tickets, me included.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
that, by the way.
Oh, actually, we got to shout out Dirty because he did get us some seats
some
in
awesome
the
box
suite.
seats as
And
well,
and
yeah.
A-Train, we finally got to meet flipping Arlington A-Train, which
Yep.
I don't know how I never met him because he lived in Houston for years, and then we were going to the games, and I would be in the booth. That'd be the day he was down in the crowd. He'd be up in the booth, and I'd be in the crowd. Somehow we never met, and then it only just takes traveling across the country to go actually meet the person.
Funny how that works.
It's good times, though, either way. It's always nice to finally meet the people. Jake, I know there's probably not a lot for you, but there's got to be at least a couple.
Yeah, crossing the Mississippi, getting the hell out of Missouri. No. No, my favorite part was that, let's see here, so many to think about. No, it was the last touchdown that we got that I had any hope on with, no, why am I blanking on my own guy right now?
Turner?
There we go, Turner. Yeah, right before the half, right before that DC got that touchdown back. But that was probably my favorite because it was a hell of a play by Turner, a hell of a touchdown, and then looked like there was maybe some hope, but that was the last time that I think that I may have smiled that night.
I'll tell you,
Also-
Zach and I will go on.
I was gonna tell you. I was sitting right next to Jake the entire game. His wife, right? Yeah, wife. No, girlfriend. All right, future wife. His future wife is a bigger fan than he is because she was screaming the entire game for the Panthers.
I seethe quietly, and she has her outburst.
I relate to that.
She was into the game.
Yeah.
Thorne, how about you?
You can start addressing me as James. It's getting a little silly. I'm not nearly as handsome as Thorne. I know.
Yeah. First of all, Thorne, identity theft is a crime.
We gotta pull up that picture of the selfie I took of Thorne when I went out to eat with him again. But I know he didn't like that. But anyways, I mean, honestly, I'm probably on the same line of you guys. I think for me, this weekend was like just complete heaven on earth, where we've got the two best teams all wandering around the city. We've got a bunch of people from the league. There's so many great people in this league. Just shout out to everyone who's worked in the UFL, whether they're an intern this year or a staff member, executive, whoever it might be. I know we come on here, we'll criticize the league. We have our complaints, which are all valid things, but we love the UFL. We love spring football. This is why we have the show that we do, as we want to continue to just put your stories out there, just continue to talk about the league and generate some engagement and whatnot. So to see all these hardworking people there in one place was really awesome. Got to meet some great folks, and I'm excited heading into the next season, see what this league can do.
Yeah, shout out to everybody that came up. I know there was a bunch of people that came up to me and Zach. I know there's a bunch of people that came up to Ducky. I'm sure there's people that came up to everyone here. But shout out to everybody that came up and said they watched the show, listened to the show, whether if it's UFL podcast, Around the UFL. Zach and I ran into a guy that mentioned he reads all your articles, James. Like, that's what this is all about. It's not about money. It's not even about recognition, but it really is about the community aspect. And so, I mentioned it numerous times as I ran into people that we've talked to online, Arlington being one of them, it's so fun. It's like bantering online, but then meeting in real life. And even for the folks that you truly banter with, right? And this is why I cannot wait for one day for the Birmingham Summit with me, Stevie T, Bama Boy. It's going to be the event of our lifetime. But I do see we have our special guest in the waiting room.
All right.
I think we bring him on in. You guys ready to have him bring in?
Why not? He's the star of the show. That's why we brought him on.
Let's bring in the star. Mr. Champion in the house, Bryley Moore, tight end for the DC Defenders. Soaking up the sun. I know you're having some fun. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Living the dream. Glad and very happy that you could join us and take some time out of your day after this championship that you guys won. We were joking that, you guys are probably still celebrating right now, and it's probably a little bit partially true.
I'm celebrating by getting a good sweat building some patio furniture for my wife right now.
There you go.
Look at that. Straight
From
to
one
work.
job to the next. Yeah.
Absolutely. It doesn't stop.
That's right.
Using some of that extra championship bonus money for some patio renovations.
I made a promise if we got it done, then we could go ahead and do it. And, hey, man of my word.
Look at that. We love to see it, Bryley. Hard at work no matter what hour of the day, no matter off season, during the season, no matter what. Bryley, appreciate you joining us, man. Obviously, a lot happened this weekend. You guys finally get a championship. Maybe just kind of walk us through some of the emotions that you've been feeling the last couple of days after that win.
It's been crazy. So, after the game, we stayed that night. Next morning, 7:30, buses departed for the flight back to Dallas. So the second we got back to Dallas, I had a quick team meeting, and I got in the car and drove back home. So I feel like I'm just now, like today, being able to actually decompress and like think about what happened. But man, it's just as a team, like we lost in 23 when it was just the XFL, and there was so much emotion this past week of just like, we've been here before, let's do it. And then, I think there's about 6 of us on offense that were here in 23. And once we did it, like we just kept coming up to each other, hugging each other, like, man, like we finally got it back. Like this is what we deserved. So it's pretty cool being able to, take a breath, put in some labor right now, just kind of really embrace what happened and think about, just everything that happened this season.
Absolutely, and to kind of go back to that 2023 season where you guys came up short, it's a bit of that different dynamic when you look at these 2 championships you guys have been a part of, where 2023, you guys went in as the favorites, right? You're 9-1,
Yep.
playing 4-6 Renegades. Almost everybody was picking DC to win that game, and Arlington just comes out. They were hot at the right time, and, they got the best of you guys in that game. Whereas this time around, obviously DC and Michigan relatively even, but myself and plenty of others picked Michigan to win. Michigan definitely felt like
For
the
sure.
favorite. They were the betting favorites.
I've seen
to win.
it.
You guys,
I've seen your guys' picks.
I know, Riley. I know you saw them. but for you guys to kind of be a bit of that underdog heading into this game and to dominate the way that you guys did must have felt pretty damn good.
I can't even explain how good that felt. Like during the game, it felt unreal. I'm sitting there like, dude, is this actually happening? Like, like you said, 23. I mean, I would like to say in 23 that we didn't just overlook Arlington. But now that we got, kind of some revenge, I can say that, like, yeah, we knew what their record was. We knew what our record was. And I think we kind of had it won. And obviously I would never want to say how somebody else is feeling or anything, but I'm sure Michigan had a confidence going into the game with how bad they put a beating on us in the regular season. And so for us to kind of return the favor in that type of game, I mean, that revenge felt pretty good.
I can only imagine. And we got a bunch of people on the panel here, so I'm going to switch it over to Ref and Zach. We're both in the same screen, so I don't know which one of you wants to go first, but take it away.
Well, I guess I'm going to take it away because he's pointing right at me. Bryley, congratulations to your championship. Wasn't my team's year, but, the one that did show up, and that was you guys over there with the DC Defenders. My question goes directly to this, and I think there's been some chatter since this game ended, and it was brought up to your quarterback in Jordan Teamu with Joe Tessitore and company here. I take it the chip on the shoulder for some of the stuff on Shane Harris with being an interim head coach. Jordan Teamu isn't the MVP going into this game or doesn't get any accolades in the UFL. I imagine that was as big a chips as you could get along with the underdog status. Can you go through that?
Yeah, I mean, just dating back from the beginning of the season, Shannon was the right person for the job. He's somebody that we all love, been here all 3 years with us guys that have been here. There was no question in my mind that was the right person. Obviously, you have Greg Williams as the DC at the time, so I wasn't sure how it was going to go and everything, but it clearly looking back now, it unfolded the right way. But that's just it was really a storyline that was like built for us to win this year. With everything that happened, losing your O-line coach 3 days into it, losing your head coach a week before the first game, playing Birmingham, who's the spring football juggernaut, and then losing our DC and Greg Williams, such a huge, defensive mind in what I think week 2. So there's just so many different chips that we had. So we're going into it. Let's do it for coach. We just lost our head coach. Everybody's writing us off already. So there's the chip. Lose our DC. There's a chip. Get it later into the season. We're having such a good season, and we as players expressed that we wanted Shannon to be the head coach, and to the higher ups. And they ended up sitting down. I doubt that this is out there. They ended up sitting down with us and having a conversation with about 6 or 7 of us, probably week 9, I want to say. And it went really well. That's whenever the first time we were able to have like a sit down. But the fact that he hadn't gotten it yet. The fact that we kind of found out it wasn't going to happen before the season over was just another chip going into the playoffs. But then when they announced Bryce, who's a great player, that he was, the triple crown of those 3, and JT didn't win a single thing, it was almost like in my head I knew, like, okay, it's over with. Like, we're going to win. This is as big of a chip as you can do. And, I took that personally. I said that in the post game. Like that was personal to me. I felt like maybe I didn't do something enough for JT to get it because he deserved one of it, right? I mean, speaking
you
candidly,
immediately texted JT, right? Right when that came out.
Yep, I sent him an immediate text, said we were going to get our get back for it. Told him he deserved it, like you're talking about. And then I sent him a text that I read out loud in the press game, like, "Hey man, regardless of what happened, whenever we win tomorrow, I'm gonna be chanting on that stage whenever you're holding up the trophy and chanting MVP." And it happened, so it's pretty crazy, but. Like, there's just a chip on DC's shoulder. We feel like we're always kind of underdogs. We're snubbed in certain ways a little bit. So it's like they did it on purpose, and I'm glad that it happened, looking back now the way it did. So I can rock this hat right there. That Michigan hat you got on there, Jake's pretty, but
Oh, James and I said that even after found out that Bryce won the MVP and he won all 3. James even we were talking about saying like, yeah, that's probably gonna light the fire under DC's ass a little bit because of that. So,
no doubt.
See, I knew before that DC was gonna win. The second he started chugging that beer over there, well, I guess he didn't chug it, but he threw it on his face. The second I saw that live, I was like, those guys are going to the championship and they're taking it all.
Ref, do you have that clip?
Hey, a man of the people.
Yeah, actually, let's
Bryley, we're
going to
pull this up because we have an awesome POV provided to us by the legend. Can you take us through that? What was going through your head in that moment? I know you promised it to the
watching that back that's so awesome. That was lit. Yeah, so obviously, we got the beer snake, and that's what we're known for at Audi. And we have some diehard fans there. And so a lot of them will message us on social media, tell us certain things. When I had the one-handed catch from last year, diving into the end zone, I did the fake celly with the ball. And after that, I told Barlow, I was like, man, how lit would it be if I actually went out there and chugged one and threw it up into the beer snake? Never had an opportunity after it. But I had me and one of the beer snake conductor, we had talked about it. He said he was going to save a beer for me just in case. I told him what I was thinking. He was like, dude, we would love that. And that actually wasn't even after my touchdown, funny enough, because I told him if I did it, I would do it. San Antonio, I had a touchdown. Didn't plan on doing a front flip. My back was sore after I hit the ground, so I didn't make it over there to do it. So we scored. It was against Arlington, a huge game. And, I mean, I don't know. Certain things happen on the field. I feel like you just kind of black out. Went and grabbed it. The crowd went absolutely insane. I figured I was going to get a 15-yard penalty, and it would have been worth it. Shannon knew. Coach Harris knew that was something that we were potentially thinking for, and he told us he'd cover the fine for us if I got a penalty for it.
That's DC culture right there.
It is, tight end. I feel like tight end's got to be a man of the people. That's the way Kittle, Travis, and them do it. So I'm just trying to bring a little bit of that juice to the UFL.
Yeah, and speaking of that fan experience, Ref, I know you're a big guy on the fan experience, especially there in Audi. I'm sure you got something for Bryley on that one.
Well, not even. Actually, I'm going to go a different direction here because there's a couple things that happened in this game this past weekend. First, the highest scoring spring football game in history. Second, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. I'm sure somebody will, but I'm fairly certain DC scored on every possession. Am I right in that?
That is confirmed.
I mean, I got to know what was going on through your head because at halftime, we all know what the score was at. We had over 50 collective points at halftime. Coming out of halftime, I'm curious what was your thought? What was going on through your head as you just saw the points racking up? Like, were you trying to hold the celebrations down until it's over, or was there a point where you're like, okay, we're gonna have fun now? Like, run it through.
I can't even I don't think I've actually fully digested what happened during that game because that's not what I thought it was going to be. I think we were scored, what was it, 58? Absolutely not. I predicted the final score to be 38-21 or something like that whenever we were just messing around the day before. But I mean, JT just started launching that thing and the receivers were just, catching it in full stride. That chip, Ty Scott, 73 yards for a touchdown. Ty hasn't played since the last time we played St. Louis, the first time we played St. Louis in their dome. And JT hits him full stride down the sideline, doesn't break stride right over the shoulder. So the things that were going on in that game were just crazy. So once you're starting to see that, you're on the sideline no way. Is this really going to happen? But like you said, we're trying to hold back a little bit. Going to halftime, we're preaching it's 0-0. I think we were up 18 at the time. And there was one point I said, no, score's not 0-0. It's 18-0. Let's see if we can make it 36. Let's go see if we can score 60. And the fact that we came out and kept it up, it's crazy. But we during the game though, you got Bryce over there, and that's somebody that can change the game in one play. And he started to with his 4th and 12s, which is crazy to see. So we tried not to get too cocky, too confident or anything. But after my touchdown, I remember just. I caught the touchdown, and right before it was
you punted the ball.
Yeah. So
you got a penalty, right?
That was not planned. I did. That was not planned at all. Before it was going into the 4th, so we had the media timeout, and I told Yasir Durant 70 that I was going to give him the ball, let him spike it, because I already blew my touchdown celebration on the 2-point that I caught earlier in the game. So he's like, all right, cool, let's do it. Feedback to my O-line. So I get over there, I turn around, me and JT do our celebration. Mason Fairchild's right there. And I look up for the O-line because they always are the first ones there. They're out there. I look across the field. They're up there fighting the Michigan defense. There's a brawl going on. So I threw my hand up and just out of instinct again, I just punted that ball in the next week. Got the penalty. But one of my coaches was one of the O-line coaches, man, you got to be smarter than that. And I looked at the score. I'm like, Coach, like we're putting belts of you know what right now. Like then he was like, come on, you still got to be smarter. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Let me lock back in. Let's finish this game, and then it'll be worth it.
Christopher Tisdale just beat me to it. I was gonna ask, was that celebration, an ode to Paxton Brooks because he didn't have to do anything all game, or?
I told him at least one of us is getting a punt in. I mean, he punted once in the St. Louis game and 0 times during that. So somebody had to get a punt in there in that game.
I love it. Jake, I don't know if you have anything lined up for Bryley, being the Michigan fan that you are, but I'm passing the mic on to you.
Do you want to
in case
apologize to him for all that trash you were talking, Jake?
What trash was I talking, though?
I don't know. I just wanted to put you on the spot.
No, what I was going to say is I'm glad that you guys from the 23 season actually, got the championship, because back when it was 2 separate leagues, I've was a DC fan since, 2020 days. Then 2023, obviously coming back, joint, DC fan. Was really hoping that gonna pull it out there. Obviously, like you said, looks like you guys overlooked Arlington a little bit, and then unfortunately you guys got to take revenge on my team, so it hurts a little bit. Glad to see DC getting a championship. Hate that it was us getting that BTA, But then again, I also was confused. I thought games were only 15 minutes long, right? After 15 minutes, I was leaving the stadium. Someone told me that the game was still going. I'm like, no, what? Game's over. Michigan won, right?
Well, it's crazy because I was on my way back home yesterday. I had an 8-hour drive, so I had the game just kind of playing on my iPad, like the TV copy of it. And I mean, just to reference, going back to what my thoughts were during the game, I'm watching this game and I'm like, we were down 13-6. They were winning at the first half or the first quarter. It was this close going into the second quarter. Like, I mean, I don't know the way the game went. Like, I obviously thinking back, I remember like, oh yeah, here goes Bryce. He's driving down on us. But like, it's crazy just the way that game unfolded. It's crazy. And I mean, regardless of if you talk crap or not, I would understand if you did. They put BTA on us earlier in the season. That was Bryce's first start coming out party. So I'm sure there were a lot of people that thought that they had it in the bag.
Bryley, I want to.
Go on.
Bryley, I want to shift a little bit and ask a bit on more of a personal level. You've been in this league the last 3 years, last 3 seasons with DC. Looking at your statistics, this year, 2025, more yards combined than the last couple of seasons, same amount of touchdowns as the last couple of years. I know last year you were hurt for half the year, so that affected what your productivity could have been a season ago. But do you kind of feel like you're playing the best football of your career right now?
It's crazy to say. I'm 27, which you can.
Oh no!
Kick it back to backstage again, the ref.
No, that wasn't me. But once he rejoins, I'll bring him back in. He probably had a connection issue there.
I wonder if he knows that he's gone.
He might not. Or we found, the same UFL person, executive behind the scenes. Like, wait, who let this guy on the show? Cut it. Oh, here he is. Let me let him back in real quick. There we go.
Hopefully that didn't ruin everything.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, no, to answer that though, it's crazy, to think I'm 27. Obviously I feel young. But I understand what, age in football means, but this is the healthiest I've ever felt. Just walked away from a 12-game season. All I have to account for it is a little bruise in my quad right now. And that's it, to be honest. And I felt that during this season, I had my most productive season I've had in a long time. One of my best blocking seasons that I've had in a while. Dating back to that 2023 year, I think I blocked pretty well, but this year just overall was by far my best year. I talked to Von Hutchins about that, the DCGM. I feel like I'm playing the best professional football that I've been able to play since I left K-State, and so it's I'm just praying I get the opportunity at the next level to kind of show that. But a lot of that goes back to Coach Shannon and Coach Kais, kind of the offense they were able to call. I have a MVP caliber quarterback. That's I think he made some strides from year 1 to year 2 to finally this year, and obviously we were able to cap it off. I think he's playing the best football that he's played in a while too. So it's crazy. I went into this season thinking maybe this was it for me if nothing happened after it with NFL camps and stuff like that, and maybe that be the case. But it's a weird situation now that I can look back on the season that I do feel like I'm playing the best football I've ever played, and then that kind of just lingering in my mind too. So it's weird. I'm very thankful, very blessed that I'm able to be as healthy as I am, get through a season that I feel like you said is one of the best ones that I've had, especially in the past 3 years in the spring. So I'm excited to see what's next.
No, absolutely, and obviously, you have some time to figure out here in this offseason, and hopefully, we'd all love to see you get an NFL opportunity. Definitely would be well deserved. Lots of tight ends in this league that have played really well this season, but you definitely went under the radar. Honestly, could have been an all UFL snub. I mean, definitely a couple guys on that DC team that probably feel like they were snubbed from that list. But before Bryley, we really appreciate you taking the time. Before we wrap things up, does anyone else have anything left to say to Bryley, or any questions or anything?
Thank you for beating Michigan. Thank you.
I bet it makes it a pretty sweet podcast post that there for my boy
It
Jake.
does. Just remember one thing: you can't take Ducky's words with many calories when he switches teams every year. So
Listen,
I'll take that.
I can switch teams every year, but I'm still going to be born in Ohio, so I hate Michigan.
That's fine.
Is Ohio getting the next expansion team?
Whoa.
You tell us.
You tell us.
I don't know.
I hope
Bryley,
so.
Ducky was a DC fan for about 3 weeks, and then they cut Boogie Roberts last year, so he did.
Tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was a good 3 weeks.
Bryley,
we appreciate it all.
Bryley, we really appreciate you taking the time. Congrats again on the big win. Get to go home with the ring, and good luck figuring things out this offseason, man. We wish you the best.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on here.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man. Good having you here.
Yeah,
there we go.
One final flex.
Yeah.
One final one. I had to do it. All right. I appreciate y'all.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Take it easy, Bryley. Oh, that was fun.
These are always so fun. This is why
Did he
I
do a
love
spit
doing this
take?
show. What's that?
Did he do a spit take whenever I said thank you for beating Michigan?
Yeah, he spit his drink.
Oh, man, the UFL season may be over, but Around the UFL continues, and we got guests. And we're still hoping Jace is going to be on here later today. I know Zach and I, we took one of Jace's recommendations over the weekend, which, if you guys haven't tuned into Summer Stock, the road to the UFL Championship, it is still worth watching now. It's not all about the championship game.
It's always
and so, I mean, I lost some money in some funny ways. We had some good moments, but Jace, I mean, he told us about the onion. Well, he didn't. We asked him about the onion burger. He gave us a couple recommendations.
We got the best recommendation.
And he went through, and he even showed me. He was texting people to get the skinny on where to go. He ended up telling us about Johnny's. It was maybe 30 minutes out of the way of where we were going. Best 30-minute deviation we've ever taken. I mean, beyond the damn onion burger, the slaw dog, the fries, it was amazing. The atmosphere, the aura, it was exactly what I was looking for. The only sad part about it is 9 hours from where I live. So if I ever want to have Johnny's again, I'm going to have to drive 9 hours there, 9 hours back. But they do have the Dank Tank right down the street.
Yes, they do.
Would you like to tell them about the Dank Tank? We didn't go in, but you saw it from the outside.
If you aren't in Oklahoma or from or around Oklahoma, apparently the weed market is booming out there. We counted, at least in our short trips, at least 6 dispensaries, whether it's on US 66 or off. So the Dank Tank was a very popular one in El Reno, which is where Johnny's is located, just down the street. You can't make this stuff up. There's one called Mango. I don't know. It's just that was that was not something I was expecting when we traveled through Ohio whatsoever. But no, check out that trip as well. And I hope Jace shows up. We can talk about the burger. And for those for you on the chat, I do see your super chats. We will get to them. One of them I will address because the other I'm saving for a subject topic because I think it's a good kickoff. Chris Tisdale. Addressing that, yes, Jordan Tommy was on 106.7 The Fan an hour ago when he posted this on our super chat, confirming that part of the chip on the shoulder was, well, him being slighted for MVP. Said the team rallied behind him, and Bryley was the first one to reach out about said chip. So, Yeah, if you need a little extra confirmation on that, that definitely was a driving force for this past Saturday night's game. And I think it's a good time to get into a little bit of analysis. I mean, Jake, I might as well you and I kick things off. We didn't even show up in the building, and I think it just just didn't seem like anyone wanted to come in with the same energy right there.
Well, I wouldn't say we didn't show up. I mean, obviously the first quarter was highly competitive, but yeah, I mean, our offense still put up 34 points, so it wasn't like they're completely inept. DC's defense, their D line especially, clearly did not want to have a repeat of week 6 when Bryce would not go down. They made sure that he did at least a couple times. He was sacked twice. I know they hit him a few more times, but I think they only got him like twice, but still more than they did in week 6, and that was clearly evident that was part of their motivation. But secondary, banged up or not, have just been suspect all year, and yeah, I don't know. Like it was after that first quarter, it kind of went down from there. But I mean, they clearly weren't in it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll pass this one over to James here, but something that was very prevalent watching from whether it was in our box, whether it was on the side, the front lines is what really caught me. Mostly the DC offensive line. Yeah, defensive line, give Bryce scrambles. He kind of holds onto the ball a little bit. They did get some pressure, so I got to give him credit there. But it really felt like the real winner of the day was that front line push that allowed them to execute what was a true run and kind of splash play passing game every single down. It seemed like every possession you had a minimum of a gain 4 yards per clip a play. And they could do whatever they wanted. Jet sweeps, inside runs, deep ball passes, in the middle, you name it, they had it. They just never were able to get that front 7 comfortable with the Panthers, and they could never really get true consistent penetration or consistent stops at the point of attack.
No, I completely agree with you on that. I thought one of the main storylines in this game was the trenches were dominated by DC, both sides of the football. You look at the pressure they were able to get on Bryce Perkins. Bryce still did his thing. He still eluded sacks and did what he could, but he can only do so much, right? It was clear that his ankle wasn't 100%. It was clear that DC was definitely rattling him a bit with that pressure. Yep. So on the offensive side of the ball, we saw Michigan stall out at a couple of points where they could not afford to stall out because the defense couldn't get a stop. And circling back to the offensive line in DC, you got to give a shout out to that group. And they had an offensive line coach leave during training camp, and Cody Krill gets sent off. Brian Braswell joins the squad, and DC ends up having one of the best offensive lines in the entire league, and that was on display last night. 2 nights ago. Like to your point, Jordan Tiamu, a lot of time to throw. With the way that secondary is playing, you cannot afford to have that happen, right? I feel like if we were getting some more pressure defensively in Jordan's face, then it sets up that defense for a bit more success. You know who was really missed was Kenny Willekes. I thought not having him on the field was a huge, huge loss for this Michigan defense. He was arguably one of the top pass rushers in this league prior to getting hurt in Week 9, and we never got to see him and Breland Speaks in the same game. I really thought that'd be something if you had Speaks on one end, Kenny on the other end. I like Rondell Carter, but I just don't see the same productivity from him as a starter as we saw out of Kenny Willekes. So kind of all those pieces together, not to mention the lack of energy from Michigan's defense was kind of sad to see. I mean, there was guys just hanging their heads. The body language was off, right? First couple of plays, they get burned, and then it just felt like they gave up. And a guy like Willekes, his energy, what he would bring to the table that was missed was pretty big for Michigan. But, yeah, DC, hats off to what they were able to accomplish. I think they were the much more prepared team heading into this one.
I mean, the defense, Michigan's defense was pissed off on the sideline. Like, Taylor Stallworth was hitting that, Gatorade cooler right in front of us, and it's like, well, where's that energy on the field? Because they were clearly unhappy with their performance. They were yelling, but that never translated to the field. So credit to DC for obviously having the right game plan, the right mindset to counter whatever Michigan end up doing. But clearly the focus wasn't there. They weren't dialed in, and hopefully I can't speak for the team. I wasn't in the locker room, but. And hopefully they were as dialed in as they could. And it just was that DC ended up being the better team that game. But I can't help but to think that, maybe they did overlook. Maybe they did have a little bit too much confidence going into it. And DC had quite the, chip on their shoulder. But all in all, yeah, I think Kenny was probably one of the bigger things too, because I think he put some pressure on Jordan back in week 6, and I think that, as much as I love Speaks, I think Willikis was Michigan's best end this year, and missing him was certainly detriment, huge loss.
And he's the type of guy that he was playing that leader role throughout the year, because Breland goes down in week 2, and the guy that stepped up was Kenny. So to have him, one of your pillars of that defensive front, which has been so good in the run defense all year long, you could just tell it wasn't the same unit. And as good as they were in run defense, they were beat pretty bad on the ground in this game too. I mean, they were just beaten every single aspect. And honestly, that was not 100% on them. I feel like, the secondary breaking down so quickly in the beginning, then all of a sudden DC can run the ball because you're trying to have more guys out there in the field to defend the pass, and there's only so much you can do.
I say you can only go so far if you can't stop at least one dynamic of an attack on the day, you're always going to be one step behind or kind of on your back feet. I mean, here, I'll go off the list of what we're talking long plays and splash plays on the day. You had 6 plays of 25 yards or more on the day for the DC passing attack. 6 different receivers having that said mark. I mean, that's just unsustainable on a defensive front secondary to keep up with that pace. And it was something that I think a few of us were worried about with the injuries is that something they'll attack? And is that something that Michigan can be able to kind of counter off, especially with Ty Scott coming back? And it sure enough just wasn't it. With no pass rush like James is talking, you're just kind of locked into saying, well, I hope we're playing good zone or man, because if Jordan's on his game and isn't having one of those days where his guys aren't connecting, it's going to be hard to be playing that, or you're going to have to play a sprint. And DC has just enough in the tank and is a healthier defense to where, as you saw, Bryce is kind of thrown off. He's gotten to play a little bit extra magic, and sometimes that magic just runs out. It just ran out a few times too many, and, well, that's the end result. You have a defense that can't stop anything, and, well, you're always going to be behind the 8 ball, and it happens.
And you got to shout out Jordan Tiamu for playing the best game of his career.
Yes.
I mean, because what we've been used to, and I think that's what some of us were waiting for and expecting, is he'll play a good game, and then he'll make 2 or 3 really bad mistakes, and all of a sudden the opposing team's back in it. He didn't do that in that game. I mean, he was spot on from the first snap to the very end. I think there's 1 or 2 throws that I think he was a little high on to Cornell Powell and Jaden Mickens. And the DJ Miller PBU early in the game, that could have been a pick 6 if DJ broke on that ball a bit faster. Outside of that, he was perfect. So you look at that type of performance from Tiamu. What was that, Ducky?
Ref putting chats up on the screen and it said Tom Welch sucks. And I just
there's
laughed
some
at
funny
that one.
stuff going on.
That wasn't me. I don't know who put that one on the screen, actually. It just happened.
All right, I put it on there and laughed at it.
There we go.
But
So I got to say one thing with the Tiamu discussion, and I'm with you. I was waiting for 1 or 2 of those wonky plays like we're used to. And, I think this was a perfect game that kind of set aside some of us that were saying maybe he shouldn't have this. We had talked with some fans that were saying, well, he isn't as much of a hero ball player. Well, he the inconsistency in the completion percentage, which is, something we did point out. But I'll tell you, when your response game is throwing for, we're talking definitely 70+% completion, and you're 156.3 passer rating. Perfect is 158, by the way. So we're talking pretty much the damn near complete perfect game you can have at that stage. Flowers everywhere. I mean, that's setting everything aside for any criticism moving forward. The man's definitely grown in the 5 years he's played spring football, and it's been impressive.
And on another note, that DC wide receiver core was really, really good this year. Shout out. I mean, I think what's the most fascinating thing about DC's receiver core is that each season they've had not only so many guys leave, whether it's to retirement or go to the NFL, so they have to bring in a lot of new pieces, they've also had a new wide receivers coach every season. Mm-hmm. And yet these units still continue to be the best. So a lot of that, is part of this DC culture. Von Hutchins, the GM, does a phenomenal job of bringing guys in. You look at some of the faces he brought in this season, and Cornell Powell and Braylon Sanders. And late in the season, Seth Williams comes in and has a couple of big splash plays like he did against Michigan and also against St. Louis last week. But the way, like they call it, wide receiver wide receiver university, that's what this DC team is. And shout out to Andre Simmons and the entire staff there in DC, because Michigan, I don't think there was a single Michigan defender that could guard any of those guys last night or 2 nights ago. I don't know why I keep saying last night, but
it feels like last night.
It feels like it was a Sunday game, but it was actually Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, I think all of us drove multiple hours. Zach, we knocked out 12 hours yesterday.
Yes, sir.
I know James, Jake, 8 hours about, right? Ducky,
7, yeah.
How long
6.
for you? 6. So, yeah.
You know, speaking of driving back, on my way back, I think halfway through Ohio. I'm driving back and I see in the back of someone's car, it's one of those UFL Championship, one of the things that they gave out that people were hitting.
Yeah,
that was in the back seat of their car. But I drove past them. I didn't recognize them, so I don't know who that was. But shout out to you for driving all the way to the UFL Championship. You're a legend.
And it was in Ohio.
And then went north. You went west to Ohio and then went north. Like, why would you choose to drive
Better
into
roads.
Ohio? I mean,
Better roads.
that's fair, but
Better roads?
Ohio's
certainly better than Michigan's for
Oh,
sure.
totally.
You know, I
Totally
want to
better
talk
roads.
trash, but yeah, they do have better roads. You can go over that state line. It's like, it's like,
Big
Damn
rich wanting to increase taxes but aren't spending them on the roads. That's for damn sure.
wow.
I don't
Oh,
know, man.
sorry,
The
Ducky.
Michigan
Beep
Classic,
it. You gotta
though,
beep
that's
that.
like, it doesn't matter who. Hey, we're gonna tax you, and we're gonna blow it on things that don't matter.
Look, as an Indiana resident that has gone through both states, I would argue that Ohio's just as garbage as Michigan with the road coverage. So I'm not even gonna try and play.
Well, Ohio's
either
just
side of that
Wait,
card.
so that makes somebody else from Ohio plus me went to the game. That's 2 people from Ohio. That's more the entire St. Louis fan base that showed up.
You know what? I like that segue. Let's dive into another super chat that's perfect for this. As Pro Catch, championship in DC or Canton next year or bust, folks. And I think that was another big discussion topic, as Ducky's kind of hinting at, is do we play the same card again in going back to this venue?
You're wearing a cardigan?
What is the choice here, gentlemen?
Avoid St. Louis at all cost. At all cost. Avoid that. Avoid it.
And I want to speak on this. There are wonderful people that we have met in the city. I have great friends. We all have great friends there. But the question I think people are having is, how do we solve that issue where we don't have to talk about the attendance on a championship game? Because it's come up 2 years in a row.
Rig it for St. Louis.
You know,
get them in the
I
championship.
just think, like I said, it's a big question mark. You know.
Yeah.
So
It's just-
let me go on.
Oh, I was getting ready to say the people saying like, oh, it should be a neutral. It shouldn't be a neutral site. It should go to the host team or whoever has the best record. And it's like, Canton proved that wrong. Canton had 20,000 show up for 2022, and in 2023 a good bit showed up too. I would say if that weather wasn't supposed to be bad, you would have seen more than the, what was it, 17, 18K that showed up, something like that.
This week on
weekend
Saturday?
it was
No, it was
15
under
this week.
15.
Yeah.
It was
No,
14 and a half.
in Canton, 2023.
Yeah.
Oh, then yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me
It's-
throw a third. I wouldn't say option because we don't know if this is going to be an option, but a third potential option. So they brought up DC. They brought up Canton. What I think would be really nice and a good way to maybe market in a new area is, let's say we don't get expansion next year, right? We don't know if expansion is really even happening. We know the league is looking into it. But let's say the league does expand in 2027. To me, you have a prime opportunity to get interest in that new market. So let's say, I don't know, any city USA is the new city. We'll say it's an Ohio team just because Briley brought it up earlier. Let's say they're going to expand to Ohio in 2027. To me, it would be a genius idea to host the championship in that location, because now you got all the people that are excited for a new team coming the next year, potentially coming out to that game, plus the fans of each of those markets. Now, again, this is something that the league would have to announce expansion or have to do something like that prior to for this to make sense. But me personally,
Which
if
they
that's
would
not
have
on,
time to do if, once again, if they are waiting another year for expansion, who knows how that'll all play out. There's still plenty to do, but maybe that does give you more time to where you can make an announcement. Heck, you can make that announcement maybe in January or February, like, hey, in 2027, we're expanding to so-and-so city. And then a little bit later, you can announce, hey, guys, guess what? Not only are we expanding to your city, but we're actually hosting the championship in your city this year. So come on out, get introduced to the UFL, and then come on back next season for your own team.
And
that makes way too much sense.
And let me give an idea for any ticket people or any UFL executives that might be listening. If this is a reality and something like this happens, let's say somebody puts a deposit down for season tickets for 2027. Give them a championship ticket for free. One, you're going to hopefully boost interest in season ticket sales. Plus, you're going to potentially boost the hell out of attendance for that game on people that are going to be in your market next year. Plus, then, whoever the two teams are from people traveling. So you're always free to steal that idea. You're not even stealing them. I'm giving them to you guys. Sign them up.
I mean, there's
Tax
plenty
free.
of talk around the ticket discussion. One thing I will say, I think this is something they could focus on, and it's an idea I kind of like. And the ELF, by the way, is not a perfect league. It has some great ideas, I think, but it's not perfect. But one thing I do think it does really well is it does a great job pushing for the championship game to be an event to gather people together. They planned this out, and they announced the next venue almost immediately after the year is done, and they set it up, and it's a year process getting that whole festival together and set up. And I really think maybe that's something that the league could do. Is I know they still have to work on some other items, and they got to go back and renegotiate some stadiums and whatnot, like they always do. But the championship game, to me, and I saw Jake M in our chat say this too, earlier prep and kind of already pushing that immediately is not a bad idea. Instead of waiting till part of the way through the season and then having to say, well, maybe I have a little less time. Now you have a full year to plan this out. Even if you are a neutral fan or something and you're gambling on your team to make it, to make it a celebration of UFL fans should be a priority for the league to push. So something to consider. I think that's something the ELF does a really good job of, is pushing the ELF fan first for those events. And maybe that's what the focus should be for the UFL Championship as well.
Europe is also the size of like this, so traveling in Europe is like you get on the train and drive 20 seconds.
Now, counterpoint though, all our teams are on the East
That's not
Coast,
how it looks like on the map,
so
Ducky.
Yeah. This guy. You know what, James? Ever since Michigan lost, you've just been chirping away. Chirping away.
I mean, of course I'm going to chirp. I'm a DC fan.
That's true.
Yeah, Thorn
Where's
usually
Jace?
chimes. Thorn's a little frisky. Just
frisky.
just remember that.
Dude, I wanted Jace to be on here because
I was St. Louis after that one.
I wanted Jace to be on here because I saw
he
a
may or may
tweet.
not be joining. We'll see.
I saw a
We'll
tweet. I wanted to put
Figure
the
out.
tweet up on here.
So where do we go from here, gentlemen? End of the season. We're now back into the off-season swing of let's see who makes it to NFL rosters, of course. But a lot of stuff that's kind of in the air, and we're just kind of waiting on holding patterns right now, aren't we, James?
Yeah, I mean, I think what will be fun is, and I tweeted about it this morning, is now guys can sign with NFL teams and get workouts. And from all 8 teams, we saw that open up for like the teams that were eliminated from the playoffs a couple weeks ago. Now all 8 teams get to open that up. And that's the beauty of this is, this entire point in the league is obviously opportunity. And what better way for opportunity to get these guys back to the highest level? And I think that's what makes the UFL and spring football so special this time around is, Ref, I wasn't around for this, but you were. When the XFL in 2001 was trying to compete with the NFL, you can't. You cannot do that. Whereas I think, this niche that you have where you're being a platform for these guys that are very, very talented, like Joe Tess and Jordan Rogers were talking about on the broadcast, so many of these guys were college standouts or have been in the NFL. They're NFL draft picks. A guy like Cornell Powell with DC was a guy that was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs and has a Super Bowl ring on their practice squad. Like, he's been there before, and now he's got a UFL championship ring with the DC Defenders, led the team in receiving touchdowns. I'd have to imagine a guy like him with his size, his route running abilities, and what he did in the UFL, he's headed back to an NFL camp. I mean, you have to imagine that we're going to see plenty of those stories. So excited to see who it is. It's always, the bunch of a couple guys that you expect. And then there's the guys that you're like, oh, wow, look at this guy. Like, he went under my radar, but he's in the NFL now. So those are going to be fun storylines to track, and that is something I'm really excited about.
Real quick, I want to pull this comment back up on screen. So Jake, he says, can we get Mark Thompson on ATU to talk about how the league couldn't last a season without him? We can, with your help. I need everybody in the chat to go tweet at Mark Thompson.
Oh, no.
That he needs to come on ATU and join the conversation. Because we're going all in. We have an off-season schedule that's ripe for good conversations. I know Zach and we were talking to Andrew Squire about joining the show.
Yep.
And even because he was involved in MLFB.
We got stories that we might
but he
wanna
also
talk
had
about.
him and I, we deep dived into a particular nurse. I don't know how much we could talk about that story on the show.
Oh my
but,
gosh, no.
I mean,
we cannot go into that one.
But
No. If you guys want to hear an interesting story, though, you can go back and rewatch I have a one-on-one on him with him on this account, back like 2 years ago. So go check out that interview. You'll hear a wild story about him in the locker room. Week 2 before the Breakers, he couldn't end up playing, but we can't go into too many details about who those people were and whatnot. But it's still a fun story.
I feel like we can because that was USFL and this is UFL.
But like,
yeah, no. But we do want Mark Thompson on the show. So this is
okay.
Here's what you need
maybe
to do.
off-season episode with Mark Thompson. We might.
He might be the new panelist if Jace doesn't show up tonight. I'll tell you that much. No, I
No,
can't,
hey,
Jace. I know
Jace-
he's listening. I'm joking.
Jace is out. He's doing some important things right now. So
Okay,
we'll
fair,
see if he has
fair.
time. If we go long enough, he might join us. But
I hope he joins from Johnny's. That's all I'm saying.
I hope he joins just to talk crap to me.
As he should. As he should.
Do we need to do a roast of James Larson?
Yes.
At some point, I think that's what you're trying to set up. my
Is
friend.
that not every single episode of
No,
this
no, no.
show
See,
ever?
we're talking a true roast. You get like the pseudo roast because there's Saul jabs. You don't get to talk in a roast really. So
No, that's true. I just gotta sit here and
you just get to laugh and take
take it
it.
in the chin.
There we go. Hey, real quick, I do have a clip, Ducky. You shared this in the Discord. Did you share it in the public Discord or just the?
Which one?
Well, we got a couple actually.
Oh, please pull that one up. That one is hilarious.
So this is. Do you want to tee it up on the
Yeah, I'll tee it up. I'll tee it up. All right, so I was sitting next to Jake, and there's this guy right below us. He works with whoever was broadcasting it. I don't pay attention to that stuff, but this dude works for the. We're talking about this clip, right?
Hold on.
AD.
Here, I'll
AVD.
mute it because there's no need for music. Let me pause this.
Yeah, that's the clip.
Okay, yeah, but this dude, I was laughing because like the score is 52-19. This game's over, and this dude's so bored with Michigan losing, he pulls up Netflix and starts putting a movie on. I was laughing. I'm like, dude, this game has got to be boring for this guy to sit there and put on Netflix. That is the funniest thing I've ever seen at any sporting event.
When I don't know, you may have showed me this in person when we were talked after the game, and I've been dying about this ever since. And I knew you had it in the Discord. That's why I was like, "Where's that damn Netflix clip? I gotta get that."
Gosh.
Now another one. This one's from prior to the game. See, Ducky getting in. You didn't get on the field for the game, but you got the shots that mattered here. Jordan Teamu may have gotten the MVP, but I'm telling you, if you put this guy in the game, he might give him a run for the money. Let's just pull this one up here real quick. Look at this guy. PFM contributor, James Larson, throwing the rock here. Look at that. Look at that.
Holy air ball.
Well, there's you do well in one of these, but the
Wait,
form.
put the sound on. Put the sound on.
Warm up.
Hold on.
Put the sound.
Oh, I know you got the sound for this.
Where is the sound? There it is. Hold
You
on.
guys don't have the clip of me making it. That's
You made it. You made the first one. Go all the way back.
The third one. I just missed the second one.
It's only a 10-second clip or 16-second clip.
I haven't warmed up.
I haven't warmed up.
I'm glad you had me put the audio on. Perfect. Fun weekend all around, though. I mean, it's crazy. It feels like just yesterday was the beginning of the UFL season. Then it was the playoffs. We all knew it was inevitably going to happen too soon. Now the season's over. It feels like there's nothing to do. But in all actuality, there's also
always something to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, we got
it's
AF1.
I think this might be one of the most interesting off seasons yet, only because one, it'll be the same old with you're going to have guys going to the NFL. Two, there is going to be some sort of UFL free agency. We're still waiting for details on how that's going to work. But kind of like what we had in USFL, remember, we didn't really get to fully see it because the merger crashed it. But we had true USFL free agency for a while, and that was a lot of fun. We saw some guys going from team to team. We're going to see Trey Williams going from New Jersey to Pittsburgh. We were watching Cam Emmons-Looper go from New Jersey to New Orleans. There was a whole bunch of cool movement that we never got to see come to fruition. This year, and from my understanding, and again, this isn't fully accurate yet because we don't have all the details, but we are going to see where if you've been on a team the last 2 seasons, you are unrestricted. You can go sign with somebody else because there has been rights deals in place where even if somebody didn't re-sign to a team, unless their rights were released, they could not go sign elsewhere. So I'll give you an example. Wes Hills, when he signed to the Memphis Showboats this year, he had to get his rights released by Michigan. Even though Michigan didn't re-sign him, they did not bring him back. They go through a whole process of getting him released. And Larson throws for 300, hell yeah. So we're going to see that this year where you don't have to release his rights. The rights are going to be gone regardless. That's how my understanding is. Again, could change. That's what the UFL does all the time is there's plenty of change. But to my understanding, that's going to be how it's going to work this year. So that'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to that.
That's how it should be. I think once you sign with an NFL team as well, your rights should be free.
That part is true, I'm pretty sure, where if you sign to an NFL team and you're there for an extended period of time, you can come back and sign elsewhere. But I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah. I think that's what to me is fascinating. We've seen that in the past, like you're talking about, James, is that, while there are a core group of players where you do want to keep some of those talents and you want to kind of evaluate your rosters, these GMs can make those choices with how the league's contracts are structured to move on, or even players, hopefully now with this sense, maybe as we've seen, might want to make a change of pace. I go back to Chris Odom when I think about certain change of paces as a player looking to make a jump or something like that. But you can see more players like that might want to take their chance and kind of talk to the open market a little bit of these different teams. Not saying that their contractual style changes up, but maybe it's better for their play. Maybe it's better for what they want to do, or it fits their scheme better. So, it could be a fun offseason even more so than last year.
So I'm going to pull this comment up here. I know he's being facetious. Jake says Sternberger is a roughneck. Now, I'll tell you this. If I was only so lucky to get a Jace Sternberger on my team, we truly are going 12-0 all in.
He is from Houston, right?
Hell yeah. Well, he's not from, but he lives in Houston.
Right. Lives in, same thing.
Sign me up. Get that man on our team, 12-0, rough him up, all in.
I'm waiting for him to pop in here and just be like, hell no, ref, and then just jump.
In the Discord, he posted the one screenshot that he sent to Wade. Whenever Wade was, he wanted to be a roughneck.
When they were getting their teams together in 2022, he's trying to Houston Roughnecks.
Jace and CJ is a match made in heaven. Can you imagine those two on the sidelines?
I can imagine.
That's TV gold.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Anyway, what else?
Head case Jace and CJ.
Oh, come on, man! Why you gotta do it? Oh,
that was set up and bowled down.
I'll tell you this
we
though.
Each gotta at least try to give one of our favorite memories from this season. Now that's over.
Oh, dude.
Who wants to start?
I'm going last. I gotta think about this one.
Damn it.
I know. I'm trying to think. One. I guess every moment the Roughnecks won was my favorite moment. It maybe not as many moments as I wanted to have, but it was 500 times more moments than we had last season. But actually, here is my favorite moment. CJ Johnson on the sidelines when he's screaming at the guy, just give me the damn number. 4. I love it. Or when he's telling people to shut up. And then he's wrong. I love CJ on the sidelines.
The time he was telling the player that you were, and he's like, no, that was 86.
Oh man, CJ getting a correct challenge in week 10. Man, the crowd went wild at that watch party. I want to see more of that.
That was fun.
More of that. How about you, Zachy boy?
I got to look back at the season that was. I'll reminisce. It's definitely the whole surrounding of the end of the Arlington, Michigan game, and not only just the way that it ended, getting to the 1 yard line with that second, but also Bob Stoops and losing his mind. Bob Stoops, and then later going back and going, never mind. He was right after they did get the timeout. That was like my favorite little moment of the week was, told you so. But yeah, the whole theatrics of that game, and it just kind of encapsulated what was a special year for Michigan to me. Too bad couldn't get it done, but it's something that, you just got to, as a Panthers fan in the modern day, you're going to take that with you. It's a top moment.
Actually, I have another one, and this one's from Stoops on the sidelines. What are these effing rules?
That was cool too.
Man, I'm all about the coach side and being mic'd up on the sidelines. So much gold. So much gold.
I think for me, I mean, I love being able to travel a lot that I do each year, so that's been fun. I think one of my least favorite, but also favorite memories this year was getting stranded in Pennsylvania on Easter Sunday for 3 hours, thinking that I'm cooked because my car, for those of you that might not have heard the story, I've had all sorts of oil issues, so every so often on a big trip, I
Rough 'em up.
top the oil off and get back on the road, and unfortunately, I stopped, and I guess my oil cap wasn't on completely, so it came off. My oil tank is I'm like another hour in, and the car's just sputtering. I'm like, what is happening? And I open the hood. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's over. It's over. But
Speaking of which,
Easter
go ahead.
Sunday, somehow, some way, some guy at one of the shops that was open had a friend who had the same car that I did with the same oil cap. So got me some oil. I made it to DC, and that was a fun game. The Brahmas only win of the year. My first time in DC, so that was a lot of fun.
It's nice to see that your car had a resurrection on Easter. I mean,
I know.
It has risen.
Unfortunately, it's dead now, though.
I was getting ready to say,
Was
speaking
it
of
3
which,
days later?
link below, GoFundMe for James' new car. No, I'm kidding.
Seriously, no, that'd be great. Oh man.
Real quick, I want to pull this one up. Sorry, Ducky, real quick.
Go ahead.
We met UFL Isaac. James,
Yes.
you met Isaac week 10. But shout out to him because he went to all 8 stadiums, total of 9 games this year. Best moment getting cleats from Jaden Mickens, which one of these weeks he'll click that link. He'll be on the show. But he name dropped you, James, meeting you week 10. He didn't name drop us meeting us. Man. That wasn't as memorable. But I think
Isaac, it was great meeting you. And his sister had a Houston Gambler shirt on, so I'll always remember that.
All in.
Yep. He said me week 1 and 2 because I ran into him in Houston, and then I ran into him again in DC. But it also, I would say my favorite moment was meeting everybody, but definitely week 2, being there, that was my only Memphis game I could go to because I'm not gonna say it on here, but I was shut down a couple of times trying to cover Memphis, so it is what it is. But I got to cover him at least in DC, so I'm grateful for that. But then I got to go up into Beer Snake and add to that, so that was pretty cool. But
and you got a picture of Thorne, the real Thorne.
Yeah, I got a picture with Thorne.
Giving you a gesture, so.
Yeah.
Yep, Expo analyst got to meet there. I would say DC's a great environment. It's a good place to be.
It's just such a nice stadium, and it's kind of a cool spot of the city too, because it's not too hard to find parking. You can kind of get, especially if you get there at the right time, you can figure it out relatively smoothly. And just the area around the stadium is pretty nice. You got the river there, you got the bridge, you can walk around. Some nice.
I will say this: I did figure out why Ducky is so nice to DC all of a sudden. Bribery. We all watched it happen at that fan event. Ducky walks away. All of a sudden, he comes back with a brand new shiny shirt. I'm like, oh, isn't that funny? Doesn't it all make sense now?
I was shout out to Chris, the DC admin, DC Defenders admin. I saw him at the Fan Fest, and I was wearing a Memphis like a long sleeve. He looked at me and he's like, he gave me like a look of like, what are you wearing type thing, and then he pulled this out of his bag, and he's like, "There you go." Yeah, and I immediately took off my hoodie because it was hot outside, and then I threw this one, but it made me look good because like everybody online was like, "Oh, Ducky's wearing an XFL team's like merch. What's going on here?" Yeah, it's not because it's 80 degrees and I decided to wear a long sleeve shirt.
Man, shout out Jake Milligan, also known as UFL Cards. That guy. He probably travels more than I do. He's all over the place. He does a lot of great work making.
He did actually. He posted in our chat 16 games this year. He said.
Yep.
So
he made my Ducky cards this year. So shout out him.
It's awesome. We have a super chat, by the way, from another from Lucia Medina. Shout out to you, man. Two in a day, and thanks for the super chats, guys. Again, you don't have to do that, but we always appreciate it, and we'll always read them off. My favorite UFL season moment, lording the Battlehawks win against the Brahmas over my dad, who's a Brahmas fan.
Speaking of Brahmas, go on, sorry.
Memphis beat the Stallions. I forgot all about that.
Did?
Yeah, that's
okay. That's tied number 2 best experience. that was a good
win,
one.
D. Anderson. What a time.
Real quick, speaking of Brahma, Zach, you were with me. I got Brahma brand shorts.
You did?
Yeah, they sell them at Walmart. They're not anything affiliated with the UFL, but they are Brahma branded shorts. I'm wearing them right now. Look at these.
Look at him
Moo.
showing off those legs.
Sign me up.
You know, speaking of Memphis, Ducky, I don't think I ever talked about this on stream, but the season's over, so I think it's time to get into it. But Noel Mazzoni, the offensive coordinator, we don't have any beef. It's like friendly beef because anytime I was on a media call, he'd be like, "Oh wow, they let the 8th grader back into the media call."
That's funny.
and then we start going back and forth, and then I was asking him a question at some point. I'm like, I'm sure that DeMarcus Gates picked 6 back in the USFL Championship in 2022 because he was the OC of the New Orleans Breakers at the time. And I was like, does that still haunt you? And he's like, James, were you even alive then? Like, come on, why the hell are you bringing that up?
Next year, just ask some question. Be like, all right, I gotta get back to recess now.
Oh yeah, when I was down there at Solomon, Memphis, I was like, dude, I can't believe they let a high schooler come cover this game. For the record, guys, I'm 24. I'm not in high school anymore. I just look young.
He's lying.
No,
Man.
Chad, drop your favorite comments. We got to keep pulling them up. This is
Yeah,
fun.
I've been flipping through. I've been going through. We got here. I like this one actually.
Let's see. I mean, Chris Mace is in here. He's just saying LOL over and over. Chris, what was your favorite part of the season, bud? LOL.
Chris, you crack me up, man.
LOL, LOL, LOL. Amen, brother Zach.
Thanks. That was his favorite part. Thanks.
Oh man.
Another one. Yeah, somebody mute this guy.
Jake did give us an LMAO.
You all see Freddie's comment?
No, what did he say?
He's not young, he's just short.
Oh, Pro Catch said his favorite moment was doing.
Oh.
Bro, you can't say that.
Oh,
you can't
math.
put that up.
Not math. I thought it said math. Oh no.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about homework.
You have the chat right in front of you.
Oh my gosh. This is our last episode, not by choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's that Detroit education system working against me again. Uh-oh. Oh man, but I mean, we got
We love you
off-seasons
guys.
here.
You guys are amazing. Spring football, the fandom, the people involved.
Indiana is the capital for that.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
it is,
no, not another one. I thought it was cooking.
Stop it.
My God, Jesus, what is going on in this show?
No.
You're
But seriously,
revolting.
though,
for
I say
just-
long.
like,
Don't have the cookout. You know,
yeah.
tailgates. That's what you guys
Shout
do.
out, shout out to the fans. Yeah,
So the off-seasons
Especially-
here. Oh, go on.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like,
Go on.
especially because like I told you guys, it's like it's weird, like people walking up to you and like, oh, you're so and so from the show, and it's like that just for me that was so weird, just having like 6 people the entire time in St. Louis. Personally, I thought I was about to get jumped whenever they said my name, but just because of where I was. Then I saw the guy had a Memphis jersey on, and I'm like, that's my dude. That's my dude.
You found an ally.
Actually, after this comment, this is the question we all, because Zach, you saw James this weekend. This is a question we all need to know the answer to. UFL Isaac, how much can James squat?
That's a great question, actually.
How much is your mom? No, I'm kidding.
I need to leave.
No more mom
Oh
jokes.
man. Any guesses?
I don't know. How much
I
do you
don't
bench?
My max is like 240.
Okay.
I think you
nothing
squat
to-
450.
You're not going to pull a Logan Graffia?
Logan
think
said like
James can get
395
10
or something
sacks a
like
game?
that.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm going 450. That's my
420.
Oh, my squat? No. My max is like 315. I don't squat heavy.
guess. Hey, that's fair. Just giving you some props.
I appreciate it though. I wish I could. Maybe one day.
Aim. Keep going higher, my friend.
It's
we
usually
gotta stop.
easier to lift heavier weights with longer muscles.
this is true.
Which is weird because like a lot of Memphis people are like tall, or not Memphis, Michigan people are tall, but I didn't see any of them lifting anything up on Saturday, especially not a trophy.
Oh, Brandon. Hey, that's the Brandon.
What about
That's the
Brandon
Brandon.
in Memphis? What's up, man?
Oh, the one you. What was that story again? Say the story again.
No.
No.
Well, no, he was just in the stands and he was like, "Yo, what's up, James? I watch Around the UFL." I was like, "Let's go, man. That's awesome." Shout out Brandon.
Yeah. Maybe we're thinking. I'm thinking of Brandon UFM. My bad.
Oh yeah.
Too many Brandons.
Yeah,
Not that guy.
He wouldn't show
I
up
don't think
in our
Brandon
chat.
shows up to anything.
He
Yeah.
only goes to the Discord to get.
No,
clowned
Isaac, I wasn't
on.
even allowed to play Little League. I was homeschooled. So
This guy was. I can't say it. Never mind.
He was walking with Jesus.
pastor's kid moment.
Yeah. He was meeting the devil in the A gap.
Oh boy. Well, I
What
think
were
that.
you
Oh,
saying
wait.
about the offseason?
Oh, he was the guy. He was. Ref Sack. That was the guy in St. Louis in the Memphis jersey.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
All right,
See,
that's cool.
I love this. This is what's fun.
That's right.
I was just gonna say the off season's here. We're still here. We're probably gonna be. I mean, we might not do shows every week through the off
going for a
season, but
little while at least.
we'll be
you know.
we'll be doing some shows still. We'll probably be here next week as well. But although the UFL's in the off season, football continues. I know Zach, you and I were talking about AF1. We'll probably be I mean, we got the playoffs this weekend, championship week the next. So if you guys are interested in that, we're gonna have UFL podcast this week. We're gonna be touching on the AF1 stuff a little bit, and definitely as we get into the championship game. But UFL related, we have the collegiate draft coming next month. So, from what I understand, we're going to be getting schedules a little bit earlier this year. We should have probably more information. I think the UFLs, at least from what I'm told, they're going to be trying to hit the road a little bit harder than they did in the last offseason.
As they should.
And so I'm hoping that we get that trickle of news coming, from now until kickoff. Regardless, there's going to be a little bit of gap. It's not going to be every day things are dropping. But another thing that should be happening soon is we're going to start seeing more and more of these guys get signed over to NFL teams, or at least getting looks for, workouts and things like that. And so, yes, it might be the off season for playing, but it's very much the season for things to be going on. So another reason to be checking out pfnewsroom.com daily. I mean, James, you're cranking things out left and right. It doesn't matter if there's a game, there's not a game, or if it's 2 a.m, articles are dropping. I mean, what are you guys looking forward to in the off season as we head towards season 3 of the UFL?
New head coaches.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
I would
way-
say Jaron becoming a head coach. Eli Walker going to the NFL. There's my top 2 right there. Oh, Isaiah Henna going to the NFL. Yeah. I'd
Boogie
just
Roberts
take all of
becoming the
Memphis.
first player and broadcaster in real time.
Yes,
Who?
please.
Boogie Roberts becoming the first
Oh, yeah.
player to also broadcast during a game.
That would be. Boogie's he's such a good. Anytime you hand him a microphone, he just knows what he's doing. That dude, he was built for that.
Look, I'll take someone that's in touch with the spring scene that can also handle the mic, because that also helps with touching base with the game and could make some fun analysis. He's also just a fun character as well. So it's a triple threat. I'd love to see more of him. We all do. We all love seeing him hit the field or talk on the mic. So please bring on more of that.
Oh my god.
As for me, I kind of already talked about it. Looking forward to seeing the guys go to the NFL and UFL free agency. It's going to be fun. And expansion relocation remains to be seen, but excited to see how that plays out.
How about you, Jakey boy?
That's crazy.
That one I saw earlier.
That's crazy. True, but that's crazy.
So
Dude, he was getting screamed at.
Poor Case, man. From getting yelled at by Philip to Holtz. I mean, yikes.
You can't change your mind.
He probably misses Bart Andrews. Much, much calmer demeanor.
Meanwhile, Bart's over in Europe, actually.
Yeah, him and the Galaxy We got Terry Wright over there. We got Channing Stribling over there.
Reed Sinet's the leading passer right now in the ELF, by the way.
Oh, let's go.
So.
Oh, wow.
Is my mic broke?
Loving
I
that.
see this. Is my mic broken?
No, we hear you.
All right, good. I don't know what you're talking about, Freddie.
He gripping that thing.
Freddie. Yeah.
Shout out Freddie for being one of my substitutes for one of the podcasts.
Gotta get him a few more bits of action. Do we have points?
Yeah, we might as well. This would be the final points of this season. And that. Well,
Oh, wait, I got a story.
Okay. All right,
I made.
Story while we look for points. Go ahead.
I made I don't want to say I made it. I got a trident for Memphis, and I'm mad this didn't happen because like it was going on behind the scenes, and like Jaron and I were talking it out, and Jaron got the. Your dog sounds like it just like watched Michigan lose a game, but
yeah, no, I have it on the TV right here, and he's losing it.
But yeah, I got to try it. It's all gold and everything, and I kept trying to get it to Memphis, like at a game, because I travel and everything, and it's like I can't take it on a plane, so I'll drive. And then by the time I get there, it's like I'm not getting this in the stadium. There's no way. But that would have been really cool to see. Is that trident on? It was supposed to be the turnover trident. Sucks it never made it to fruition.
Hopefully next year.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully. You sounded sad saying that, Ducky. You know what it is, because you're probably thinking about, okay, what's my new team? It's new year, new
season,
team.
new team.
I mean, we all know if Jaron takes
I've been a
over
Brahmas
any
fan
team-
my entire life.
Exactly. Well, I think that's it. I think that's probably about it. We're half hour 6:30 here. Let's do some points here. Right? I mean, James, I don't even know if points even matter at this point because you're up above everybody at 350. But you know what? For a stellar season, I'm going to give you 50 more.
Oh, wait a minute. You can't give it to him. He's not here.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. No, I'm gonna. You know what?
My points
I'm
gonna go to Thorn.
I should give. You know what? You're right.
Say
I'm gonna give
Thorn's here.
Thorn
Thorn
50
showed up today.
points for showing up. Let's see, Thorn. Okay, what? Doesn't really help him much, but you know what? He got 50 points more. He's at 191. We put him in the race. Let's see, Ducky, you're at 69 points. I almost really don't want to give you any.
No, I'm good.
All right, good. Zachy boy, 200 points. I mean, what feels like
You're gonna ask me to get me.
What feels like a good number? You know, you took a tough loss this weekend, so I'm gonna leave it up to you.
I don't take no pity points. I take losses on the chin, like a true team fan. So
that's what she said.
Yeah, well,
it feels like a 7 to me. I don't know why.
Nice one.
Takes it on the chin. 7.
7.2.
Yeah, 207.2 is then your
7.2.
final total. Jake, just because I heard how angry your wife is, I'm going to give you 50 points as well, just because I love that. I was like, my wife watches these games with me, but she doesn't really care. She usually comes to me near the end of the game, and she's like, did the Roughnecks screw it up? And the answer is usually yes. But Jake, just because of the passion of your wife, you went to the game, you had to watch your team lose, and then drive home. That's at least worth 50 points. That brings you up to 170. I'm going to keep my score as well because I'm at 12. I don't want any more points. I just want my damn 12 wins next year. 12 consecutive flipping wins. 12 big, beautiful wins. 12 wonderful, spectacular wins in a row. 12-0 all in, rough them up. That's going to be us. 500 times better this year. Infinity times better for the rest of the forever. We're never losing a championship after this one. So
what happens?
What
happens if
Damn it!
What happens if they expand and there's more than 12 games?
We're losing the first 2 then.
That's how that works.
As long as 12-0, first 2 preseason, get us out of here.
You're not you and you're hungry. Pro Catch says in a super chat, get yourself a burrito. It's time to eat.
Yes,
Chipotle.
Yes, it is.
Chipotle sounds good.
So everybody, here's what I need you guys to do. Congratulate James in the chat. He is this year's ATU winner. Sign him up.
He was last year too.
Yeah, he was 2 times.
Thorn was last year. Well, actually, funny enough, Thorn, I guess you're the winner again this year. There you go.
I can't believe James.
I need the banner behind me, like 2 times.
Man, I can't believe James would miss a show.
Yeah.
I know.
Of all shows to miss. But here's the thing, guys. We really, really, really appreciate you guys joining us every week. We appreciate you guys subscribing. And I really appreciate what you're about to do. Click that like button.
What in the
It's
world?
free.
Do that again.
Love you too, man.
Oh, you're on a MacBook. You're on a MacBook. He's on a
I want
MacBook.
that.
What in the world?
Yeah, James's freaking MacBook does that, but my freaking $2,000 camera doesn't. That's
It's a damn
stupid.
shame. That's what happens when you're the ATU leader. That's all those points
I'm having fun.
stack it up.
Wait, put your thumb up. Put your thumb up. Do this one.
No.
Oh, it
way.
blurs it
I
out.
mean, it did do it. One of them.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So
Fast.
I think that's it.
Shout
Oh,
out to
go
our
on.
fans, and also shout out to Jace for being a G and being with us this entire season. Doing better things right now. He's got a life. So shout out Jace.
Yeah, I ain't even mad at that.
I know we have a
ain't
lot of
mad at it.
beef, but I love you, brother. No homo.
He's got a
Good luck
sock
to the
one.
Thunder to Jace, by the way. I'm pulling
I
for the,
cannot wait for the Pacers to win this series.
Thank God.
Wait.
I feel like James is just going to send him a selfie of him smiling.
I know. Oh my God. Okay, you know what? Full transparency, guys.
That's
before
not
we
even.
hop off. Dougie,
That's
it's
not
insane.
even scripted.
Dougie, it's insane that you would say that because, Friday night, Ref finally gets to the hotel with Zach, and I'm over there finally with him. It's like freaking midnight, and we're catching the Indiana game, and the Pacers were winning that game. And I was, Ref's like, James, if Indiana wins this game, you need to just send Jace a selfie of you smiling. So I ended up staying way longer than I was originally because, man, the Pacers looked like they were going to win that game, and I was getting ready. I was excited, and then they blew it last second. But Jace, be on the lookout because one more Pacers winning. You're getting a text, buddy. It's so perfect because I could care less who was going to win this series up until Jace started tweeting Oklahoma City stuff. Once I saw all that, instantly became a Pacers fan.
Goodness.
Shout out Estelle.
I love this show, man.
This really does make the week. It's the best way to kick off the week. If you're not joining ATU, you're really missing out. I mean, it's one thing to watch the replay, and I'm never mad at people that watch the replay, but you really should be here live.
Hey,
I mean,
if you
this is
can,
where
look,
the fun is kicking off.
Look, or if you catch us right now late, like, hey, that's where the party starts. Now you know us. Click the bell, click the like button below as well, and subscribe to this channel, man. It's time. We're going into season 3 here officially as we kick things off into the off season. What better way to kick things off with following us on ATU, on the UFL podcast, and whatever other goodies we throw along the way. This is the perfect time. If you're new to this, or if you know someone that is looking for shows, maybe you have a friend that's interested in the league, sign them on up. Come on down. Show them other shows too. There's great community people in this league as well. So, bring them together. Football
James do a duck face.
unites us all.
Dude,
Hey, so
somebody said it.
I'll say this. We have 31 people watching the show right now and only 18 likes. That means 13 of you
Whoa.
are really dropping the ball here. So it's free. If it's free, wait, did I do the math wrong? I don't know. Whatever. There's a certain
No, I just
Hey, one
liked
more of you did the all right. No, we're up to 19 now. Now only 12 of you are dropping the ball. So get to work here.
Hey, Isaac, I appreciate him pushing for points because I got the Birmingham Bolts hat on that I got at the game. However, I'm calling this a cursed object because this was given to me as an item, and this team finished 2-10 in 2001, the worst team in XFL 01. I was given bad juju, and then I added on to it by buying that impressive Memphis Maniacs helmet as well. So I take all responsibility. I believe in superstition. It's what got us the championship in the first place, and I ruined it for us. That's another little piece of the puzzle. So,
Yeah. Honestly, you know what? I'm going to make up an award right now. Isaac, I'm going to call him the UFL Fan of the Year.
I'd say that is accurate. He went to, and you know what? His mom shares that title. because his mom, and there's not a lot of moms out there that would do this, drove him to all of these games, no matter where they were maybe not drove, but they drove to some, flew to others. I mean, sign him up. We actually had him on Spring Stock last year because he had traveled to that opening Renegades Stallions game, and we saw him there, and we were like, you know what? And I don't know if we knew he had traveled or what it was, but I said, we just brought him on randomly, and best thing we did, we ended up running into him at Spring Stock again this year, traveled out with his mom. So sign him up, sign up his mom, because that's awesome.
We got to get a graphic made with him and his mom and then get it posted.
Yeah.
That way people know.
Fan of the year.
Fan
of the year.
That's your job.
I don't make graphics. That's Jake's job.
Yeah, Jake, what the hell are you doing?
Phoning in just like the Panthers defense on Saturday.
With the Halliburton.
Oh, man. So they did drive to all the games. Epic.
Wow.
Every game.
Sign them up.
My God.
Sign them up.
Yeah, because I remember she told me she didn't like to fly.
Yep. So this is what it's all about. This is why I love the spring football community. I mean, there ain't nobody. Well, there probably is somebody. Well, somebody's going to. Technically, I went to every NFL game, every NFL stadium last year. But let's be honest, that's probably not happening. Like,
cool, we don't care about you.
Yeah,
this guy we care about.
That would be.
Oh yeah, you couldn't go. Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, never mind. Don't listen. Hey,
I mean,
Detroit
unless
education.
You had like the craziest setup, multiple games a day on Sunday, and like the Thursday night and Monday night games like all coincided perfectly.
100%.
Now I'm curious. Could you do it? I'm gonna have to analyze next year's schedule to see if it's even possible. I probably just gave somebody a really good YouTube idea. I'm too poor to try that. So, but if you got the money, get signed up. Hey, Mr.
Well, there's
Beast,
also
where you
only
at?
30.
I'm Beastin'.
There's only 30 stadiums anyway, because MetLife and SoFi share two teams, so that cuts it down a couple.
That is true. That is true. Any final
What a year,
words,
guys? What a year!
What a year indeed.
Yeah, what a year.
Thank you all.
All right. Well, we're gonna end it out. Thank you guys for joining us. We will be back next week. Like I said, I don't know if we're going to do it weekly throughout the season, but we'll still be here more often than not. So make sure you're subscribed over on social media at Around the UFL, because we're always letting you know at least earlier in the day when we're going live. But when we go live, you know when it's at Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern. You can definitely expect us to be here next week. Tune in to Zach and I.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah. Make sure you tune in this week for Zach and I, because we're going to be talking our post-UFL season thoughts. We're also going to dive into the AF1 playoffs.
Might have an interview actually on that show, by the way.
Oh, that's right. Do we know who it's going to be?
We'll find out soon enough.
Oh, we're going to find out soon. I'll probably be surprised with it when we get on. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be nice. I've actually interviewed Jeff Fisher, funny enough, just last year. Had a great conversation with him. So
He's a good
we
guy.
need to get him back.
Did you have any
I heard
words
the
for him
Michigan
for
Panthers are hiring
2022?
coach.
Nah, see, this is where on assignment comes into play, Jake. I can't really go in on that.
Should thank them for Shea.
Sure, I don't know. For soon enough, I'll pass that. I'll pass that on.
Yes, UFL Isaac, you both get 4 points. You and your mom.
Put that. There we go. Sign him up. I like it.
Omaha
Points to
beef.
Isaac. Oh, yeah, we got the NAL Championship tonight as well. I know you and I are going to be watching that after we get off as well. I know people are getting into the ELF season. I know some people are getting into that CFL season.
IFL also is a good one, too. Don't forget them. They do some good
Canada's
football.
not a real place.
The tariffs cut off my CFL Plus
You'll never
account.
guess. I must have been a schizophrenic
Oh, wait.
this weekend because I
Freddie-
saw 2 Canadians in St. Louis.
Freddie didn't get
Michigan
points
Panthers
for being
fans.
my sub. Yeah, Freddie gets all 69 of my points.
All right. We're going to put Freddie down. Freddie, well, we're just going to give him so you both have 69 points.
That works.
There we go. Freddie, there you go. Enjoy. You're officially on the board here. 69. Luke ends the season negative 30. Now, if he joins one of these weeks, he might be able to get
I
those
say
back.
there is
Nope,
a
season's
ATU
over.
relegation promotion session we need to discuss.
We will.
Just my
we'll get
personal
there.
opinion.
We will figure it out.
Yep.
We're-
Next season, you won't see Luke Miller. You will see Freddie Airmail. But you got to be a Stallions fan, Freddie. Just wait. We have to have diversity.
It's our strength. Anyway, we're heading out into the off season. We're heading out into the sunset. I'm curious, guys. Who sucks to end this one out? Is it?
Oh, it's
dare I
Michigan.
say-
Yeah, I say
It's Michigan.
Michigan sucks.
I hate to
Yeah.
say it. I know I'm.
Let's
gonna
hear
get
it,
mobbed
Jake.
No one sucks.
I put my ear up to the mic.
Works.
Ohio sucks.
There. You know what? You're right. Ohio
Oh.
sucks. I like.